France, but it's one of those countries which I've sadly not been able to visit. So I have to make that happen at some point, but I'm not sure when on the calendar that's going to be.
Well, I'd
Um,
love to host you if I ever do come.
I'm taking that as an offer. Don't make offers like that and not expect it to be serious, John. Anyway, welcome everybody. Brainfood live on air, bringing it to you. Is it episode 324? I don't know. Whatever it is, we're into the 300s. We do this every Friday, folks, bringing essential conversations that are exciting the recruitment industry. Let's get them on screen. Let's talk about what we're doing. Today is actually a kickoff of a mini series, which I really hope that we're going to do more consistently. And the reason for this is quite simply the iteration rate in terms of innovation in AI is cycling so fast that it's impossible to do a yearly review of where we are at in AI and TA. We have to be much more regular. We could do one every day and still bring new stuff to the table. But as it is, I'm going to try and do this at minimum a quarterly, once a quarter. We're going to sync up with sort of people who know about AI, sync up with expert users who are at the frontier, sort of leading the way and figuring out how it's being used in TA. And we're going to just try and say, okay, this is where we think we are right now. So this is a kind of episode one of a mini series that we're kicking off. So hopefully you're in the right place and able to hear and see us okay. I am, of course, joined by John. I'm going to mash your name up, but let me know how I do with this. It's Shirikjian. How's that?
It's pretty good. Wow. Yeah.
No, it's not right though. How do I pronounce
It's
it?
basically Chirikjian.
Chirik. It's a ch.
Yeah.
Chirikjian.
Yeah.
Okay, next time I got it, bro. Next time I got it. I'm here with John Trichian. He's going to be the co-host for me today. Also, the sponsor of the show, Hired.inc, one of the most interesting organizations to come out in the recruitment technology space for a little while. I saw these guys at RecFest as well, so fantastic to see them starting to make an imprint in the industry at large and in outside of the US as well. So fantastic stuff. John, we might as well go there straight away. What is sort of Hire.inc? What are you doing? Why should people care about it?
Absolutely. Well, I have a little demo. It's probably easier to show than tell. So
Happy
um,
to look.
I'm sharing my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Perfect. Yeah. We're basically an AI platform that brings together a lot of different tools, including AI sourcing, interview note taking, smart sequences, and a full ATS CRM. But we really try to focus on the core recruiter flow and recruiter experience, and work to make that really fast. So we like to think that we have the fastest ATS out there. And I can show you a quick demo of just the general product and how it works. But like you're probably used to, you have all your normal kind of ATS functionality, but you could also have your recruiter interview notes and interview intelligence all in one place. So everything is connected. There's one massive kind of semantic search where you can go through your candidates, go through past emails, go through past interview notes, and everything again is interconnected in one place. And then we have some specific features for agencies like client portals and custom branded career sites and Chrome extension and all that jazz. But something I actually wanted to showcase today is based off some feedback we got from the last Brainfood live podcast we were on, where we're showcasing some features of kind of generally how it works. We're talking a lot about the research process of creating a job and a lot of the work that recruiters have to do to just understand the roles a little bit better. And so something we actually added with our job creation flow is if you go in here and create a job, I can show you really quickly how this process works. But it's pretty cool. You can go and you can essentially type in any role that you're looking for. So I have one here, which is just an animatronics engineer for a theme park. Like this is the kind of person that will go in and essentially make like the Disney theme rides and the dolls and everything that go around there. And it's a role that I don't know much about. So I just wanted to kind of put that in to see what the AI would come up with. And it actually goes in and really enriches a whole JD for me. So I didn't have to go and do that. Again, everything is editable because we don't fully trust AI. So you can go in and tweak things as you like. But it, again, puts together your whole job description, has everything in one place, and the fields are all parsed out and filled out. So it's not just one big piece of text. You can go and change things. And it actually does a little bit of research here on the side, where it tries to understand, average time to hire and hiring demand generally. And we get this with the same way we do our sourcing agents, where we collect this information from doing research online. And then this information's here, and you get kind of a rough compensation range that's recommended for this role. Now, again, you can change everything you like, so none of this is firm, and you can go in and change any information that you want, or adjust as you need. But generally speaking, you can go in pretty quickly, create a job, set up your pipeline for your job, any pipeline automations you need, and then when you save, it all goes back to your Kanban board. You could go in, you can add candidates, and adjust as you need, like you would normally. So yeah, again, everything we try to make very fast, and work a lot on removing the grind of a recruiter's day to day. So there's more time to meet people, build your network, build connections. And we really focus on, again, like interview notes, like doing all the note taking, email automation outreach, and a lot of the research behind jobs themselves. And again, we work with a lot of recruiters. It seems like small businesses and agencies have really liked the tool. I think for larger enterprise, you're probably better off with like a greenhouse or a lever or Ashby. But I think for the agency recruiters and small businesses, this has been like a really great toolkit, all in one. And just on top of that, to throw in, we have a Brainfood special where anybody on the podcast will give 3 months free, with premium Slack support, free migration assistance, and any custom workflows and integrations you need to get up. So this is just something we're giving to everyone on the podcast.
Amazing stuff, John. Thank you so much. I had no idea about the special offer, but there's premium Slack support, folks. That means you get John on Slack directly. What more do you need? I mean, that's worth the money alone. Fantastic stuff, John. This is great. And well done, by the way, and being very clear on who the ICP is for the product. I think you're the first sponsor that's come on and literally said, hey, listen, if you're at this level, it may not be right for you, but if you're this type of company, it may be the right fit. That's exactly what the buyers need to hear, because we're inundated with different solutions, product solutions out there, and some candor from the vendors. Don't we love that, folks? Let me know in the comments below what you think about that. Also, worth bearing in mind that how do you call it, by the way? Do you call it hire.inc? Is that the product?
Yep. Yeah, the domain is actually just hire.inc.
Yeah, fantastic. Listen, I mean, the reason I love this is also because it's agency compatible as well. And that's quite rare in that market space. Most products are kind of optimized for, look, it's purely agency third party, or is it, internal only? But you know what? Those boundaries are starting to kind of become a little bit more opaque, and people are flowing through those different things. It could well be you need a bit of flexibility there as well. So do check it out. Really interesting. Okay, John, I think you can stop sharing screen now. Let's get on with topic to hand before we bring our guests on. We've got loads of really interesting people who really, I would consider them all at the forefront of experimentation when it comes to practical people, in TA, working with AI. But as a product maker, John, how would you give us an update on where we were at, let's say 6 months or so ago? We've seen ChatGPT 5 released to mixed reviews. It has to be said. Maybe that's actually being quite kind. I think a lot of people have been sticking the boot in quite heavily to say, hey, what the heck is this? And we've also seen the release of Open Model, a sort of Open AI, I think for the first time, releasing an open model that people can download and use offline, it seems. And there's all kinds of other things going on that no one can keep a track of. Where are you with things as a product maker? How do you see AI as it currently is in 2025, August 2025? Where is it? Where are we?
Yeah. So they love to say that this is the worst it'll ever be, and that's super true. GPT-5, I think, has gotten a little bit of a bad rep, in that, at least in our usage, within the team, and we use it extensively. It's not as great for natural sounding language. So I think people that are used to using it for for talking as a friend or emotional support, or even writing emails that sound natural, have been disappointed. But it is super good at coding, at logic, at things that you normally associate robots being good at, right? Like before this whole AI boom, when you think of a robot, you think of like super logical, like cold, calculated, that's the kind of stuff GPT-5 is actually really good at. And what we've found is that with a lot of coding and a lot of kind of a logic-based, processes that we have to work through internally, it's been incredible. And I think we're going to see that really change how the engineering job market will be over the next couple years. Like I just think that so radically things are changing for the software engineering job market. I don't know how that'll play out. Like I can see a lot of people changing and shifting direction to other kinds of engineering or AI work or things within that. But most certainly, that's what I've been most impressed by. Um, in terms of like recruitment work, GPT-5 is probably net less helpful in that you probably want emails that sound more natural. You're probably using it more for connecting with people, and I don't think the GPT-5 has been that impressive in that sense.
Why has it done that? Why is it seemingly optimized for engineering work, John? Have you got a thesis on that, or have you read sort of what the policy is from them?
Well, I think at least from what it sounds like, Sam Altman, a lot of OpenAI talks about a lot is how they really want to solve engineering. I think the money is there. Like there's so much money there. There's been all this boom around these you might have heard of Lovable or Windsurf or all these AI coding tools. They've popped off, and I think OpenAI really wants to own that market. And I think what they talk about a lot is if they can automate the software engineers, then that'll make the rest of the AI development much faster, right? So it's a little bit
You've
of
just
kind of
dropped
a mission for
you,
them.
you've just dropped in something that just synced in my own timeline, and this, of course, engineering. Basically, they've been using Claude, right? A lot of engineers have gone to Claude, and it's I think the reputation is it's the best for coding. So maybe AI is a sort of open AI. ChatGPT 5 is a direct attack on that, trying to reclaim that space. And of course, we had that weird scenario where they were buying sort of windsurf, that wasn't bought or something, and then everything happened, and it was like, what's going on? So Windsurf is basically like an AI coding editor, I believe. So very optimized for software engineers. OpenAI tried to buy it. I think Google then tried to buy it, and then no one bought it, and then someone else bought it that then shut it down. So it's like, okay, what is going on precisely in this space? We don't know, but maybe something's opened up. OpenAI charges through and tries to grab that. Very, very interesting indeed. Yes. Okay, let's get some of our guests on and talk about this. This is a really interesting sort of perspective. There's going to be a bunch of people we need to bring on, but I wonder whether we might want to cycle people on and off simply because of the volume of people here. I might try and do that, folks. So bear with me if I don't bring everyone on at the same time. I'm going to just make sure everyone has got their piece to say. So Tony, I'm going to bring you on first. Ala, Leandro, Marcel, I'll bring you on in a rotational manner. I hope that's okay. So Tony DeGraff, he's been outraged, I think it's fair to say, about where he's at with ChatGPT 5. So I'm interested to know where his experimentation is with things. No, very interesting on the coding side because I think as we know more about this, oh, here's Tony. Tony, how are you doing? Good to see you,
Hello.
sir.
Yes, I'm good. I'm warm. I'm in Italy, so I'm sitting behind the desk in my shorts and bare feet. So I'm doing very well. Thank you.
Always enjoying life as usual, Tony. Good to see you. Tony, for the people who don't know you, can you quickly introduce yourself? Who are you? What it is you do?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm Tony de Graaf. I help build high-performing TA teams literally all around the world. That's what I really love about my job. It's not specifically in one region. It's small companies, large companies from the Middle East, Australia, India, Japan, China, to the Europes and the Americas. And we do that through the recruiting excellence methodology. That's our approach. And yeah, that's what we do. The shortest version of
Fantastic
it.
stuff. Very short, and I've just shared your LinkedIn there. Make sure you connect with Tony there, folks. If you don't know Tony, Tony and I go back a long way, but essentially, I know he is a person that gets heavily involved in experimentation with AI. And I actually tasked him about 2 weeks ago. Say, hey, listen, Tony, I need you to jump onto ChatGPT 5 and just knock it around. Like, what is it giving us? Can we do anything with it as a recruiter? Bear in mind, we are not coders. We're not seemingly the core audience for what they want to
Exactly.
try and to do. What can it do for us? What's your verdict, Tony? Give us a report.
I was not so happy when ChatGPT 5 was launched because literally a week before, I was actually building an automated LinkedIn message agent using O4 Mini High. And that worked pretty well. And when GPT-5 came out, I wanted to start rebuilding it because the claims were one prompt, build your app in one freaking go. Well, that hasn't changed at all. It's exactly the same. What it does better, the coding, I can confirm what John says, because with O4 Mini High, it outputted like 50 lines of code without an error. That was on average. And now you see that it can output like 300, sometimes 400 lines of code actually that work without any problems or errors. So you see that they increased in that field. But the one prompt, build your magic app for somebody who doesn't understand coding, is not here yet. Not here yet.
Well, tell us a little bit about this ability to produce more code without error. It's something about compounding rate, isn't it? It's like it's more obvious. It's basically the more complicated the code you're trying to make, the more exponentially more chances it's going to create an error, which then propagates through the system and then makes it basically fall over. So the fact it's being able to, I guess, build a more complicated app is probably a good thing, at the compromise of the other stuff. But tell us about the one prompt not happening. What have you tried to do on the one prompt to produce an app? And can you tell us about that? When and where did it fall over?
It fell over because it just can't do it in one prompt, full stop. Whatever I tried, it's not possible. It's not possible. Maybe with the GPT 5 Pro, I don't know. I have the normal €20 plan, and they didn't actually explain during the launch. I was watching it live what the difference is actually between the models. They said just fast, thinking, and pro. I assume, obviously, that what they demoed is in GPT Pro, but they actually never explained what abilities you lose to go to the thinking one, this one step below. So they never explained the difference between the tiers. And I think there's something there. So just to cut them a little bit slack, I haven't tried GPT Pro, and I hope it's better than the thinking one. But the one prompt apps, no, it's not here. I tried to build a LinkedIn message agent that automatically scrolls and wraps all my new messages. Not using the LinkedIn API, by the way, just using Chromium. I can show you maybe in a moment if you like. And then generates a automated message, and then you can edit it. And if you like it, you can send it. I can actually show it, I think. Can I? You want me to? Does it?
Go ahead. Yeah, share screen if you got it, man.
Yeah. Share window or screen? Screen, I think. Just do the whole shebang. This one, yes. There we go. So can you see the screen?
Yep, we see you fine.
Yeah. So if, for example, I go to whatever this person is, you see the message history here, and I integrated it with Claude, and this is what Claude actually outputs. And then you can even make some changes like this, ciao, Tony, whatever you want, and then click send. And it actually then logs into, obviously it doesn't work right now. Of course. Anyway, then it logs into LinkedIn and it directly sends it. You can also scrape the messages from LinkedIn if you want to. So here you see on the top left, I'm not doing anything, right? You see my mouse here. So I'm not doing that. And it will go through all the messages and actually scroll up, get the history, because it's not allowed to use the APIs for that. And I was really looking for a solution that you can build agents that can do stuff through the normal UI. Thinking about solutions for recruiting specifically. I'm just going to stop it right here for a moment. There we go. I literally sent Marcel a message like 2 minutes for the thing. And then, of course, when you're live, it doesn't work. It's always like that, right? But anyway, that's the idea of it. But what I really wanted to solve is that you can go through the normal browser, the normal UI, because think as a recruiter, you're in an ATS. We just saw a platform, but you can also use a Greenhouse, Lever, SuccessFactors, Smart Recruiters, whatever you use. You can build an agent that can log in your normal browser, let it run at 8 a.m., go through all your new candidates on your specific jobs and order them in the highest likelihood of a good match. So that 9 a.m. you open your computer, you click on your jobs, everything is already ordered in the way that you should call these candidates, instead of starting at the newest application, as we normally always do. If we have 100 applications, we just start at the top, right? So this is what I'm trying to find, small solutions of small agents that you just install on your laptop, you run it every morning, and then everything is already sorted out for you. So this is and the LinkedIn message agent was just what is it possible to build for somebody who doesn't code?
That's cool. Cool.
Am I still
Tony, it
sharing the
looks like,
screen?
yeah, I think can you stop the screen share and then we'll get everyone back. That's very interesting, Tony. And it looks like that's again a classic sort of way in which we might want to use a sort of how do we? Yeah, I think so. Don't worry, I'll try and get everyone back in. I mean, I need to know how Crowdcast works, basically. Don't worry, folks. The screen is here. I've just got to figure out how to get us back to where we need to be. Okay, well, at least you can see Tony's pretty face. Let's do that. That's one thing. And so what you're saying is the idea of an agent is that it allows you to use the browser. The browser can go ahead and then take an instruction and plow through. We can still do that, but ChatGPT 5 basically you can't do it off a single prompt, so it means you got to just keep on interacting with it to produce the output. So lots of interactions in order to get to that point, I assume.
Yeah.
Yes, this cost me like 4 or 5 days to 3 hours a day. So
Wow.
so it costs you a lot of hours, and I'm 100% a no coder, right? And this is why I'm testing it, right? Because I understand technology, I understand what the AI can do, but I want to see, can you actually build something if you can't read code? Like, can you learn to play the piano without really being able to read music? That's what I'm trying to prove, and I think it is possible. So I'm actually using ChatGPT to write the code, but I integrated with Claude because that has way better the message writing and the natural language and stuff like that.
That makes
But
sense.
this is what I would suggest people to do, right? Play around with it. Try to build a small agent. Is there something you even like? Give me a priority on my morning emails. Let it go into your email, log into the browser, and have your emails being sorted on priority. Like these small things. Learn how this works, because that is starting to understand how agents works, how you need to have automated tasks, how to build this small integration to Claude, because it is actually a lot easier than I thought. A lot easier. It just takes time.
Something that I found that we like to do is like an internal workflow is like the end user, like whether it's, if you're the recruiter or whoever's using the product, will actually make a prototype of the product in exactly the way you're talking about using these tools. Usually in one prompt, it doesn't work. Like you mentioned, it takes some work to get it to work. So what we ask is we're like, okay, make something small yourself and then hand it over to an engineer. And an engineer can usually figure out how to bring it to the finish line in a pretty short amount of time. And just for rapid product development, I found that to be pretty useful. So, maybe if you are a recruiter with more of an engineering budget and you're willing to experiment, something you could try is just make the app of your dreams using these tools in a pretty fast way, but maybe all the features don't work. And then maybe find someone off Upwork or an engineer that you can outreach to as a contractor and be like, hey, this is my idea. Can you make it work? And that workflow I've just found to be really useful now because AI is not quite there.
You know what? That's what Amjad Masad says. The CEO of Replit, which essentially is a product that is probably one further step in terms of how basically to help people, sorry, should I say, deploy apps. And he said that, basically, most of the work seems to be in the prototyping phase. So in other words, it's changed how prototyping works. It's no longer just doing mock-ups and wireframes and stuff like that. Actually, a user can get something that looks like code, get something that the kind of the moving pieces. It's not going to work in production level, but it'll work enough for an engineer to take it and think, okay, now I know what you're doing. I can help rebuild this out for you. So I think a lot of recruiters are probably not where you're at, Tony, but great that you're there. I mean, all I can say is keep cracking on and letting us know how you get on. I don't know whether you publish anything, but you should, because I think this is really interesting information for us. I know I'm going to tell everyone to follow Tony on LinkedIn. Please go ahead and do that. But yeah, you should live stream some of your coding efforts, man. I want to see it. It's going to be useful because everyone is going to be following along and thinking, overly intimidated by it when they see, the black screen and loads of non-English stuff. When you see someone like you get on, and I think it really does kind of help people feel, okay, I'm going to give this a shot as well. Okay, good stuff. Tony, we're going to let you go. Stay on the screen. I'm going to bring on Marcel, the guy you just emailed. Let's see what Marcel's got to say about this. Marcel, again, another Dutch guy, by the way. Loads of Dutch people, but it doesn't surprise me that the Dutch are at the forefront of experiment. They have always been some of the most technical recruiters around. I don't know why that is. But here we go. Let's bring Marcel on, and we'll see what he's got to say about AI automation, where we are, and the state of in 2025 with this stuff. Well, as we're waiting for Marcel to come on, let me share Marcel's LinkedIn. You can go check him out there. I think Marcel runs a training sort of business as well, talking about all of this type of stuff as well. So make sure you avail yourself to some of that stuff. There he is, the big man. Marcel, how are you?
I'm fine. Please don't connect me on LinkedIn because I'm full. I've reached my 30,000 limit. So please follow me on LinkedIn.
He's at the 30,000 club. LinkedIn's irrational number that they've just invented somehow. They won't move. But yeah, follow Marcel. You can still follow if you can't connect. It's kind of the same. It's just that there's some slight differences, but the profile can still be followed. Marcel, why don't you quickly introduce yourself, who are you, what it is you do?
Marcel, I'm the founder of Clickwork, which is a company who help companies or recruitment teams to scale with AI and implement AI in a proper way. And I'm also a fractional head of growth with a small startup called Spadework. It's a Dutch company, and I try to build their tool called Up2Database. Which
Fantastic
does
stuff.
what it says. It updates your database with LinkedIn live data.
I see. So basically a CRM type tool, keeps everything up to date and stuff. Dude, I'd love to give it a shot. I've got like 40,000 subscribers on Brainfood. It's like historical data is like way out, It's like people from 10 companies ago. I'd love to get I'd love to give it a shot. Okay, Marcel, what is your verdict on where we're at with AI and in TA? I know you've done some really interesting multi-step workflows, but you're obviously very advanced as you train other people for it. Where do you think we generally sit? Like Tony's come up and said, we're not at the point where we could actually just speak English or Dutch to the AI. It's going to produce an app. That's not happening. How do you describe the current status of AI as you see it?
Good question. The current status of AI it's depending on which company you're looking at. If you're looking at big corporates, they are thinking about AI or investing about AI, but they don't do anything with AI. If you're looking at small niche boutiques, agencies, they are heavily on AI, but they don't know how to implement this. So that's also one of my partly day jobs that I'm helping companies to make a roadmap for them how they can implement AI within their company and to make it. First, start with your process. People always start with tools, a lot of tools, but always start with your process and then look at your ideas and look what you can do to optimize your workflow over there and then iterate with tools. I love to use n8n. n8n is an open source tool. It's European. We can host it in Europe. It's free. And you can do a lot of stuff with it.
You did a really interesting, I think you published it. You talked about, was it some sort of content scraper that allowed you to generate some topics on LinkedIn and stuff like this? I forget what the precise sort of purpose of it was, but it seemed to be a workflow automator in terms of to help you generate content. Can you describe a little bit about that? How did that work and what technologies were you using to put that together?
There was a LinkedIn automation poster, but I only have to come up with some ideas, and I also can scrape those ideas, but come up with some ideas, make the audience fill it in a Google Sheet or wherever, and then it will literally run the workflow. It will search for Perplexity for really good stuff about this, good research stuff about it. Then it goes to Claude to really write the LinkedIn post, and then based on that, it will go to OpenAI's image one. So that's the newest to write to make a good visual around it, and then post it to LinkedIn. That's one of the things I've done. This is not that hard. I also made my own email optimizer, so my emails are automatically read by AI, automatically flagged by AI, and if there is a need for an answer, it will make a draft answer in my draft inbox, and I only have to read it and send it. And I fully agree with John. You don't have to trust AI always, because sometimes it's inconsistent.
I was about to ask, how many people have been fooled by the posts, or has anyone caught on by posts that were written by AI versus not?
No.
Oh, it's good. Wow.
And I'm also working on a new agent where I can literally read all my LinkedIn messages, and it can automatically come up with an answer. And I found a really good API for that. It's called Unipal, which is really great. A lot of people use it. A lot of large companies use it also. It's really cheap. It can automate, can connect with your LinkedIn, can connect with your WhatsApp, with your Instagram, with your X. It can connect with everything because they re-engineered all the APIs.
That's a legit question, Michael. I'm pleased you asked it. I was about to ask it on your behalf. Let's take it that and peel it back a little bit here, Marcel. Can you describe what an API is for people who don't know?
Oh yeah. Sorry.
And how does that work? Let's say someone doesn't know anything, but they're diving in. So,
for example, if you go to a different country, if you go to Asia or to the UK, from Europe, I'm go to the UK. I have to charge my battery. I have to have a different kind of connector, and an API is connected between two applications. So it connects the one application with the other application, just as you connect your one plug to another plug. That's the basic stuff I always explain.
Okay, perfect analogy. So essentially, it is a connected. What is it called? Application something interface, isn't it?
Application programming interface.
That's it. So it connects two bits of software together. How does that look though? I'm just trying to use an API. If I'm on a particular app one and I want to connect to app two, how do I use the API? And what does that mean?
Normally you can use, for example, you can use Python or whatever, but normally I use the curl script or the curl script, which is in the tool, normally is described in there. Then I have to look at the details, but it's still a bit complicated, technical, and I'll explain this in my training also. So this is it's, if you grasp the idea, this is less complicated, and I hope that every company moves to MCP, which is another thing. It's called Model Context Protocol, which solves your problem with APIs. So literally a layer between the APIs and your agent. So your agent only have to talk to the MCP, and the MCP solves the direction and the tool calling within the MCP.
Okay, really interesting. I'm out of my depth though. I think we probably need to do no, this is actually probably a good Brainfood Live to do. Folks, would it be worthwhile getting someone like Marcel on to give us an hour worth of training? We'll find some way to pay him on that. But if we could live stream that out and get you a little bit of a taste, would it be useful? Let me know in the comments, because I'm not out of my depth. I'm listening. I'm not processing. Let me know. Yes, big yes for Michael. First, certainly love to see that. Thank you, Keith. Okay, very good. Aside from where we're at technically, what's your verdict as to where we're at with the different models that have been produced here, Marcel? Big sort of noise coming out with ChatGPT 5. You had Sam Altman saying, the big Death Star image is like going to be some sort of like globally changing thing. Then I'm reading online to say everyone's actually quite disappointed. What's your verdict?
ChatGPT 5 isn't really a model. It just optimized, and it's really a router between models. So it's really connecting the different models which are already behind it. and it made some additional reasoning behind it. But it's more difficult. And if you are a Plus user or a Pro user, you can see that they already relaunched the different legacy models already to this. You can also add your legacy models against to this, because they get a lot of negative feedback out of the market. So because what the hell is going to happen? Sometimes it's giving, for example, a Michelin star dish, but sometimes it's more like a pizza with frozen pizza with the plastic still on, done by a student. So it's not really good in finding which model it should use. So the router thing isn't that crystallized. The router is really air traffic controller who decides which model it should use for your answer.
So a bit of context for who kind of coming new to the ChatGPT 5. Basically, there used to be this horrible drop-down menu of loads of different models you could choose from.
Yeah.
Obviously, that was a UX disaster. So they said, okay, let's get rid of that. Everyone's going to go to ChatGPT 5. And ChatGPT 5, according to Marcel, is actually just the cover in front of all of that. And it's going to try and then switch between the models based on your prompt. So if you prompt something really simplistic, it's not going to say, you know what, this person needs this particular model to get that answer. It's going to use that model to get that answer. And this is probably where you're getting the inconsistency, I guess. Because you're allowing the AI to understand what model to actually use, when in fact you might have trained yourself to expect.
Prompting is going to be more. You have to prompt more accurate. How to get more reasoning into your prompt.
It's like, you know the difference between the tools. It's like driving stick shift, right? Like you can get more out of it. But when you're in auto, you know, for the normal user, maybe it's fine. But if you're used to using everything in manual, it feels like a step back.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. I think it's basically been a disappointment, it's fair to say. And as people are mentioning in the chat, we're starting to roll back some of these features that weren't there, that were removed in this period. So yeah, I mean, is the hype train over when it comes to AI? We need to know. But still, I think this gives us a very good sound measure where we're at. Marcel, thanks for coming on, letting us know. Let us know privately whether you're up for doing a 1 hour sesh for us.
Yeah.
Because I think
I'm on.
People need to know. Okay, we'll be in touch, mate. We'll be in touch. Fantastic stuff. Okay, we've got more people to bring on, folks, but I hope you're enjoying the show so far. Of course, Brainfood Live needs to come off air at some point, which is a massive disappointment. But we will be reiterating the show, of course. But you might want to continue to have conversations with people who are interested in this topic. Peer-to-peer learning is one of the best ways to get hold of some of the stuff like this. So now is the time really to try and reconnect with all of the people that care about the topic. Make sure that you've got a cohort of individuals that are learning together on this. It's going to make things so much easier and so much faster. And then you're not wrestling with a question that someone else has already answered. Way to do this, folks, very straightforward. Grab your LinkedIn URL, share it in the chat stream here, connect with everyone else who's done the same. If you're watching this on any of the LinkedIns, and I think 3 or 4 LinkedIn streams are going out right now, do the same. Grab your LinkedIn URL, pop it in the comment into the comment thread there, and just monitor who else is putting those LinkedIn URLs in, and just connect with them after the fact. You can do it afterwards. These things last forever. Bottom line is, if you walk away with 20, 30 new connections that care about this topic, I guarantee you it's going to help you get faster to where you need to go. Okay, very good stuff. Let's keep rolling. You're going to have to hold on just a little bit. I'm going to bring on Leandro. I hope that's okay. Leandro Gomez de Silva. Leandro's got a really interesting job. Let me bring him on and we can see where he's at with things. But yeah, John, what are your thoughts on how these pretty advanced users, you would say, from the TA community, right? No one's pretending to be a coder, but from I would say, a non-coding level, they're probably pretty advanced in terms of where we're at.
I'm super impressed. I have to say, I feel like we've seen a lot of good poster children for the no-code TA community. I'm just surprised by how much people are able to do in a short amount of time.
These people are all at the frontier, though. I don't want anybody watching this similar to me. I'm not intimidated. I mean, I'm kind of out my depths, but I recognize that these guys are in the top 0.1%. Most of us aren't going to get there, but this education is going to help us take at least a baby step. Leandro, great to see you, sir. Why don't you quickly introduce yourself? Who are you? What it is you do?
Yeah, maybe just address the fact that we're not sitting in the same room. It looks like it, but we're
It's
not.
true.
So my name's Leandro. I'm currently head of AI operations at Noble Recruitment in Amsterdam. Been a decade in TA. Recently started this full-on AI role. And super excited to be here.
Yeah, fantastic. And this, Leandro and I met in Amsterdam, I think earlier this year. We had a really good chat. You're just about to take on this job. Can you give us a little bit more context about what this job is? I think it's a really exciting innovation in the world of staffing. Tell us about what this company is and what you're doing for this organization.
Definitely. So Noble Recruitment is basically focused on bringing together all of the SaaS talent. We're a recruitment agency, and the goal for Noble is to become, basically the most premium, best recruitment agency out there. And we all know that if you want to get there, you'll need to leverage AI technology, right? So it will be my job to not only optimize processes like any regular operations role, but to bring in the AI flavor. So that will be the workflows that Marcel was talking about, for example, that will be to you really use AI as a co-pilot, as a basically virtual colleague, right? Because that's how I like to see AI. I think AI will do partially automate the job. I think I filled in on the post about 25%, at least in short term, let's say before the end of the year. But it will be much more interesting to look at it from an augmentation point of view. And that's where I'm
Yeah,
going to help out.
fantastic. I'm kind of, I wouldn't say obsessed, but I'm really pleased to see roles like this emerge where companies have said, you know what, we're not going to just second some recruiter to do it, or we're not going to say, hey, can you look into this? No, create the job and have someone who's specialized focusing on automation, augmentation, bringing this in, because people who've got operational responsibility, headcount targets to hit, etc., we're not going to be able to do that.
We don't have
You need
time to
someone
do it.
fully focused. Yeah, it's it.
That's
You
it.
don't have time to get more efficient. That's the crisis.
The issue is it's changing so fast. The whole landscape is changing by the week. Like last week, GPT-5, and then Claude releases something new. Then all of a sudden, yesterday, the context tokens for Claude are expanded to 1 million, which just means you can put a lot of data inside of one chat. If you don't keep up, you don't know what the possibilities are. You can't experiment. You need that freedom if you really want to stay cutting edge.
Yeah, fantastic. What's your verdict with regards to sort of these latest changes, Leandro? It feels like just kind of incremental improvements, maybe not even incremental improvements, given some of the commentary. What's your view of it? Have we hit peak AI, so to say? Where is this AGI breakthrough? What's your views?
So that's a difficult one to get. I think everyone's gonna take a guess here, right? Scaling laws have predicted that we will hit a plateau soon because we're trading AI using reinforced learning. The data is basically ran out. We're trying to look at, hey, how can we leverage synthetic data in order to improve it? But basically, see it as that we are trying to brute force. So basically, try to just increase the horsepower in the engine to make the car go faster. Is that the only way to make the car go faster, though? Or do we need to start thinking about aerodynamics? Do we need to start thinking about all of the different variables that come into play in order to increase the artificial intelligence? I think that even if we would stay at current intelligence, there's so much we can squeeze out of these models. It's insane. Personally, I like to use Claude a little bit over ChatGPT. Why? Of the personality, the way it looks at certain issues, the way that it writes as well. And every model has its pros and cons, right? So you really need to understand how a model behaves, what their specialty is, and then just use it for each use case. Might use a slightly different model there.
Yeah, really. And again, that's noticeable what Marcel mentioned, talking about the multi-step model he put together, workflow he put together, using
Yeah.
different models for different sort of parts of the process. Do you see that as being a persistent sort of situation, or is that a
No.
transition stage to the point where there is an Uber AI that we all just use for everything? Now, how's your vision on where that future looks?
Well, there's a lot of discussion on how to architect these kind of workflows. So you could say, hey, we have a multi-agent orchestrator. We have just one agent doing everything. There's pros and cons to both. So again, there's no single truth. No one knows what is the best. Right now, I prefer the multi-agent orchestrator. Just treat it as a colleague. How would you set up an organization? That's how you look at these AI agents, right? So you have the different specialists and they hand over information in order to get to the end result. So that's how I like to do it as well. To give you a small example, I was talking to the colleagues here at Noble. What if you have a kickoff call with a hiring team and automatically that's taken out of Could be a MetaView, could be a Phantom, whatever tool it might be. And basically you have an agent that writes your job description. You have an agent that writes the email to the hiring teams. You have an agent that starts your sourcing could be the Boolean strings. You could have an agent that has access to tools to start creating a list that you can reach out to. That's what's going to happen in the background. So as soon as the recruiter hangs up, agents start working, and you're going to approve it. Because again, I agree with John as well. You can't trust AI. We still need to double check all the work and basically take it from there. So really do the heavy lifting and the focus, and also for us at Noble, right? It's not to reduce headcount, is to let the recruiters focus on what you can do best. And for me, that is connecting with people, because connecting with people is getting trust, and getting trust is closing the deal.
Yeah, really interesting. And I do think that's the trade-off we're gonna have to make. Like if we just think about AI as a cost cutter, as a way to try and reduce cost, that's kind of just a bottomless pit. You're going to get to a point of zero. And then how are you competing with other individuals, particularly if you're doing a recruitment agency? At the end of the day, you're still going to be wanting to build those relationships to get the deals over the line. I think there's still the case that human beings are making those sort of decisions at the end of the day. So yeah, kind of a specialist person, I think, is going to be key. Tell us about the relationship you have with the other people in the business, though, Leandro. Like how are they interacting with someone like you? Because they're obviously on the sales side. Do they treat you like marketing, for instance? Or how do they work with someone like you, the role that you have?
So you mean internally or externally?
Yeah, internally.
They love it. So we actually just had a lunch where I gave a presentation on building AI agents, and everyone was 100% focused and opening their eyes and really thinking about, hey, how can I use it for my pain points, right? Because that's the assignment. Come back with 3 pain points, things you really hate to do. And if it's something that you do every day, there's a very high chance we can automate it, or at least augment the way that you're doing it. So what I said, my first line when I got hired and I had to introduce myself is, I'm here to put more money in everyone's pocket, because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. So yeah, everyone's super excited.
Yeah, that's a really interesting innovation. John, I'll go on to you on this. I mean, what are your thoughts on having an AI operations person? I mean, I think it works in TA, works in recruiting. Do you see it working in like other functions, like sales, marketing, for instance? Do we all need to have like a new role within those functions in order to optimize away?
Yeah, I mean, there's this idea where it's a co-pilot, right? And I think it's very much that. I think forever we will need human beings. If there's one job left, it should be recruitment, where you need human beings, because you're connecting with people, talking to people. And I think there's a lot of, even if LinkedIn was perfect and they had the best AI out there, there's so much data that they just don't have, right? So whether it's networking internally or referrals or friends or referrals of referrals, there's just so many networks that exist outside of the data that any software system has access to. And as long as that exists, assuming that AI is not all knowing, there's going to be a need for people to bring their personal experiences and interactions and personal networks to the table. So I mean, I think that'll always exist. And I think for also branding, like your company doesn't want to be known as the one that's using AI for the whole candidate experience. It's usually kind of off-putting for a lot of the experience to be entirely automated. So you want to have a person meeting and building those relationships.
It should be clear when you're using AI as well, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't want to pretend it's actually human. Most people will know.
Yeah, and even if they don't know, I think you should say, it's like the transparency, I think, is what creates the trust. Right now, I think we're going to go through a trust crisis, because if we're starting to distrust what's coming through, as is it human or not? Is it outsourced or not? You know what? It's really corrosive to a relationship. I remember getting an email. I mean, I get a lot of emails, obviously. I mean, I send thousands of emails every week, so obviously I get loads back. Occasionally I respond if I can. And sometimes there's like random pictures come in and I respond back. And the last time I did that, I really regretted it, because the person obviously had delegated it to some AI. And when we got on a call, like the individual didn't know who the heck I was. And it was like, hang on a minute, you were the one emailed me, didn't you? And then through the dialogue, it became obvious that he didn't. His image did, or his LinkedIn profile did. Some bot or agent was actually doing the writing for it, and straight away I knew there was no ever collaboration going to happen with this person, because I felt like tricked. Right? It was like, you know
So
what? That's not a good start, bro.
so what you can do is you can respond with a little prompt at the end of your email, so you can uncover if it's actually an AI bot.
Prompt
There's tons of
injection.
those. Yes, there's
We
tons
should
of examples on X. So just have a look.
Does anybody know about prompt injection? Should we do a show on that? I think we probably should, shouldn't we? Okay, listen, we've got to move on. Leandro, great to see you, man. We'll get you back at a later point. As I said, I want to try and do this quarterly at the latest. So hopefully we can roll this again 3 months down the line and do a pulse sort of survey, another sort of temp check to see where we're at with regards to AI. Great to see you, man. I hope we see you soon, dude.
Yes, we'll do. Thanks for the invite.
Cool. We're gonna keep rolling on, John. I'm gonna keep
Cool.
rolling on. But I'm pleased about sort of the sort of innovation we're seeing within, like, the cultural innovation. You know, the
Yeah.
fact that jobs like this exist, I think, is really good. We need to see more of them. I think we will. I think there's probably a mini recruitment market for AI optimization people.
Yeah.
There's got to be.
There's this idea where it's like you can either make the software and make the AI tools to give to other people, or you can make like a full stack agency, they call it, where it's like you make the software only for your agency. And I think we're going to see more of that kind of stuff where you might have these groups that are just innovating AI in house and coming up with new ideas. It's really cool.
Yeah, I think so. For my personal side, I mean, I know I should learn AI, quote unquote, but I find myself with a massive bandwidth problem, and it's similar to I forget who it was it Marcel or Tony, talking about like the lack of efficiency in how I'm currently doing it is preventing me from getting more efficient because I need to change the wheels of the car whilst I'm driving the car, and I can't do that. I'll crash the car, right? The kids in the back. I can't do that. So there's my crisis. But anyway, we have Alla Pavlova with us. Alla, wonderful to see you as always. Alla, for the people who don't know you, can you tell us who you are and what it is you do? And you are on fire, by the way. I love this orange glow you have. I don't know what's going on with that, but it looks great.
Not using AI, just freshly colored. Capacity issues and trying to optimize, prompt my way to the best efficient life. I'm still hands-on working right now for Riot Games APAC, doing a lot of also AI introductions, not necessarily implementations, but one of the recent things that I suggested was, let's do hackathon where we take one problem and we have a human with AI tool trying to solve it, and we take turns and we change teams, and it's really so interesting. So it's where you have to put the problem in front of everyone, and then you kind of use technology and human, and yeah. So if anyone needs a fun idea for the team building, yeah, you can do some kind of internal hackathon.
What was the thing that people wanted most? I'm going to say something like scheduling. It'll be some scheduling stuff that people need, but I could be wrong. Like, what was the request?
Because I was talking to recruiters, so their biggest challenge was sourcing. So they wanted to optimize sourcing and talent mapping. So with talent mapping, I know the way. So basically, I master the prompting, and I personally think good prompting exists. And there are some nice tools. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. When you can do this, and on top of it, you have a little bit of knowledge of sourcing yourself, so you can try to optimize things. But talent mapping with Gen AI is beautiful. It's really I think research is one of the best features we can use with Gen AI for recruitment right now. But when it comes to optimate sourcing, a lot of tools saying they do that. But please prove me wrong. I haven't seen any tool that will give me a very good quality candidate immediately. So I think it's still work in progress.
What do you say about that, John? I mean, sourcing, it seems to me, sourcing should be one of those areas that sort of this generation of artificial intelligence enabled tools should be able to solve, because sourcing is, as we know it, is typically aggregating, data profiles, etc. Human beings would be doing that with Boolean strings and all the rest of it. Hey, okay, guess what? That seems to be like table stakes for any AI model right now. So why is it not producing those responses? Where's the break in that situation in your view?
Yeah, we spent a lot of time on this. Like we have a beta sourcing tool, and we've tried a lot of different AI sourcing tools out there. I think it's just a really hard data challenge. Like I think at the end of the day, LinkedIn has monopoly on all this data, and they will sue anyone or make sure nobody else can get anything close. And so, even within that, there are a lot of people that don't exist on LinkedIn or the information isn't up to date. Um, and so I find generally like the algorithms can be amazing, but if the core information isn't as strong as as what you might have as a recruiter or as your internal database of hundreds of thousands or millions of candidates that you've sourced through your career, you might just have more information than the AI has access to. Um, so I think that's been a pretty difficult challenge. I still think there's a lot of room to have really good AI sourcing tools. I don't think we've come anywhere close to the cap yet. Like I think with the data sets out there, and there's one called People Data Labs that a lot of companies are use and build on. I know Juicebox, and we use a lot of those tools as well. Are all kind of use a lot of this open data set that you can work with. But yeah, it's a challenge. Like I think recruiters will still be needing to use LinkedIn Recruiter for a long time.
Yeah,
It's interesting
and
you
link.
say
Go
because
ahead.
oh, sorry, it is a delay. I'm sorry. It's interesting you're saying that because also one of the things that I've noticed, I kind of like AI assistant in LinkedIn. So I thought, coming back to LinkedIn will be like, oh no, I was going so far away, like, anything outside. I was given trainings sourcing outside LinkedIn. So now I'm like, oh, it's very nice. So it makes sense. So now if you would like to go somewhere, I think a lot of tools already building their own AI assistant and own AI presence. So that's why, yeah, when you said like LinkedIn, so I think I felt like I need to stop fighting against it and just embrace like what the companies invest in, because the truth is that as an individual, I don't have enough money to buy all the tools and access all the great things. I always need to decide: do I gonna pay for Perplexity, or this month I'm gonna pay like for maybe Claude or and the companies, they actually have amazing access to resources. So to give us, like I've tested tools that's available only for companies, and yeah, it's fascinating.
It's really interesting. LinkedIn hiring assistant, of course. I mean, there's going to be a big ramp up on that. Inevitably, it's the big beast in the water. It's hard to avoid. And because they have the access to the data, they should be able to produce the most accurate and useful assistant out there. The big caveat is that, as you mentioned, John, a lot of the information is not captured on LinkedIn. A lot of the information in LinkedIn is actually very dated. I mean, when's the last time you updated your profile on LinkedIn, folks? If you're not looking for work, guess what? You don't update it. I haven't updated my LinkedIn profile for at least 5 years. So lots of legacy there that I no longer have capability of doing. Probably I've got loads of skills people are recommending me on. Actually, 5 years, 10 years since I've used those skills, that skills fade is more or less permanent. Sort of delete. Effectively, I don't have that skill set anymore. Yet I might still be surfaced up in return. And also, we have people that might sabotage their LinkedIn. Particularly the high-profile, in-demand candidates everyone's on about. Oftentimes, they want to try and quite stay dark on LinkedIn, whether it's a full delete off profile or even to start sneaking in a few sort of shall we say, deliberate mistakes in order not to be discovered. I remember this is a Glenn Cathy trick back in the day. Like try and if you're searching for some super hard skill set, and those people get overly sort of hit by recruitment agents, try and misspell their job title because they may have deliberately tried to do that in order to avoid coming on search. And I just thought, you know what? Yeah, I can imagine a soft sabotage like that just to give yourself peace of mind might, and that will throw a spanner in the works. Anyway, very, very interesting. Ala, give us a quick verdict in your view as to where we're at with AI, like just on a general external basis. Are we at the point where we have AI agents on the general case, for instance? Are we there where the agents are really locked to a certain platform? How much, effort does a user need to make in order to get effective output from any AI right now?
Yeah, that's good. You're asking. So I just dropped the link of the tools that I'm testing and trying myself just for fun. If I look into, can you share my screen very quickly? It's going to really take a second.
Yeah,
This is
absolutely.
where,
Go ahead.
yeah,
We've
this
lost
is where
John,
I
but that's
spent.
okay.
He's coming back, hopefully. Where is presents screen? Sorry, I do think they changed a little bit the layout. So, um, I don't think it's like, I don't believe that there's going to be a job like prompt engineer in recruitment, but I think as a recruiter, I would like to learn how to talk to AI. So I'm not worried that much that I need to go for the shiny tools. I need to go and, get everything and pay for everything. I feel like AI agents, they exist, and some of them I can build. They're very simple tools, and some of them are free. There are platforms that provide AI agents, and I think the platforms like N8N, like Make.com, we have to know what is going on there. We have to be familiar with terminology, and prompting is the easiest and first way. There's like universal structures. I think you don't need to worry about any shiny model that's also going right now, but I do think you need to know what is the model, what is the context window, sorry, what is the memory, what is the token, this kind of things. This is where I feel like recruiters can level up a little bit on how to talk to AI, how to start building their own agent. Start with chatbot, something that I started. It's much easier. I actually stopping sharing just in case, Hannah, you would like to back us on the screen. Let me know if you can return this. Yeah, thanks so much. So I one of the suggestions that I would like to make to everyone, book the time every week, 30 minutes to play with AI tools. Or have some kind of automation, receive AI news to your news, like newsletters to your news box that you keep in touch, because to fall behind, I feel like right now it's very easy. So that's why, yeah, so that's the feeling I have.
No, by the way, brilliant sort of universal structure on that. I hope everyone took a screen cap of it. It's a very useful one pager. I think if you follow that like step by step, probably your prompting would improve. It's probably the sum of what prompt engineering is, and then it's a case then of iterating with the AI output and talking to it. As Mike mentioned, it's similar to sourcing in the old way. It's an iterative process. That is also the case with AI. So make sure you go ahead and do that. And by the way, final great tip in terms of just carving out time in your day at 30 minutes every day, something like that. Maybe before you fire up email. I mean, one of the worst things you can do, by the way, if you want to be productive, is actually open up email. Don't do that until like 9:30 or something. Give yourself a half hour beforehand, do something else, and then the email can wait 30 minutes. It will totally be okay. But in that time frame, do something like this. It's going to help you out. Okay, Ala, thank you so much for it. I'll see you soon. I think I need to get back to you on a call as well, so I'll do that a little bit later. But great to see you, and hopefully I'll see you in person soon. But thanks for swinging by. Great to have your input as usual. Okay, cool. Listen, we're out of time, folks. We've got to leave it there. But John, what do you think? What are your thoughts? I think all of the commentators came out with, I think, fairly consistent line, right, in terms of where we're at. Basically, AI is exciting. It's useful, but it needs a lot of work for it to be useful. It's not out of the box and magically going to solve problems. We've got to kind of still put a little bit of, our pound of flesh in to get a pound of flesh out, basically.
Yeah, I gotta say I'm really impressed with how everyone's been using these tools and leveraging them. But yeah, definitely trust but verify is the name of the game. Make a way, try things, but always try it out and check and double check its work before using.
Absolutely. And by the way, folks, I am of the belief that the generalist AI probably will emerge at some point where it's going to be like omni useful for a bunch of stuff that we do online. That's going to be the case. But I do think I think the verticalized AI sort of model probably is still going to be dominant in the sense that if we're going to use it to do a certain thing, we're going to be basically getting it from a vendor, and not, applying a chat GPT to do sourcing for everything, or in the recruiting context, for instance. It's not going to be thorough enough. I think it's going to contain too many errors. We're going to miss too many candidates. It's going to be narrower. It'll be a product like what you're building, John, or any of the other vendors, and I think that replicates across any kind of use case you might have in in white collar work. For instance, you could get Perplexity or something like this. You get Midjourney to produce a brilliant sort of image for you, but probably there'll be some crafting tool that's optimized for a certain type of graphic or a certain type of image production that will be more suited for you going that way. So yes, Leandro, we haven't talked about EU AI Act. I have no idea where we're at with that either. That's a show for another time. Okay, John, that's it. We're gonna have to let you go. Thanks for being co-host and co-pilot. How do people know about Hire? It's hire.inc, isn't it? Or hire hyphen inc, I believe, is it?
Hire.inc. Dropped it in the
Hire.inc, folks. If you're an agency or you're a SMB type business, you need an ATS that is natively AI. That is the product you need to use. Here is the code Brainfood 90. That's 90 days for free. Three months, folks. So I see no reason, if you're not using a tool right now, which I know a lot of you aren't, just sign up for it and use the code and get yourself some signups. Okay, that's it. We'll be back next week. I don't know what we're talking about, but we're there on Friday. Make sure you follow the channel if you've enjoyed this conversation, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, guys.